Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily. Sometimes 9 a.m, sometimes not, sometimes Monday to Friday, sometimes not. Hope you're doing well. We do this show because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin altcoins and everything else. Right now, as you see in the title, more pullback to come, and as you can see the arrow over here, it's pointing towards downside because over here it's kind of exhausted the move towards upside. Over here we had a small exhaustion pattern that broke towards upside, but we came right back inside that move over here towards downside. We tried over here to go again towards upside, failed that. Right now consolidating up here, and I'm pretty with high degree of confidence right now, thinking that it's gonna pull back even more towards downside. This is very normal. What we are actually looking on the chart over here, and what we are actually looking for to happen, this 4-hourly time frame, so there is that. We are looking for this move over here towards downside, toward the midline over here. Once the midline is actually hit, we are hoping that the midline is gonna bounce over here and get out of the channel eventually. But this pullback towards downside, I think it's pretty much given right now, considering that over here there is a very nice lines, and it is kind of failing to break this channel over here, rising channel towards upside over here. This is actually double channel up here, rising channel towards upside. It's failing to break that, and right now it's failing to break that. It does look like it's gonna dump more towards downside. I mean, best case scenario, just bouncing off this line towards upside and breaking the channel towards upside. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna break down. More consolidation over here, and maybe during next week, we break the channel towards upside. So in the bigger picture, small time frames up here right now, looks like there might be more pullback. Now this pullback is not actually that heavy. It's a 5% pullback, but this 5% pullback can come over a couple of days, so it's gonna be like 1-2% pullback, for next couple of days or something like that. I mean, it could just do in one move 5% move towards downside, but more likely it's gonna zigzag over here, get in some kind of box, and then towards upside up here during Monday next week or something like that. Hopefully that happens, but the 4-hourly time frame right now is telling us that this is very likely right now to break towards downside. I'm saying it's very likely because nothing is given in this kind of space, but it is very likely this is gonna break towards downside over here. That breaking towards downside is actually okay, because in the bigger picture up here, this pullback down to the midline, testing this very nice midline, as you can see over here, testing that midline, bouncing off that midline towards upside eventually. That is actually what we're looking for. There's also this line towards downside up here. I don't know, I think this is a weekly line that I actually drew over here. Yeah, this is some kind of weekly line. I mean, this line can actually be pulled like this as well. Regardless, over here we are looking again for the midline up here before the next move towards the upside, so that that can definitely come. But right now, again, the 4-hour time frame is telling us that right now, in a very short short time frames over here, this might actually pull back towards downside. Another good thing up here is that Bitcoin dominance is still crashing towards downside. Over here, as you see on the daily time frame, we are having these moves towards downside. If you look at altcoins are actually doing well. Bitcoin is down minus 0.66%. Ethereum is down minus 0.59%, but most of altcoins, I would say 90% of my altcoins are actually in green on my list over here. You cannot see it over here on the side, but they're actually in green, and they're not in green like 10-20% or anything like that. I think something is up, 1 inch is actually up 10% right now. Over here it's coming back inside the channel up here. Do we have any kind of other big numbers up here on the list right now? Wow, I don't know what this is, expected, but it's up 40%. You might not think this is a 40% move, but this over here is a 40% move. This is very volatile, whatever this is. No, this is 18% move. Why does it says 40% up here? I don't know. Yeah, but those are the ones, and of course CHEP is up another 30% today today on the list. But most of the altcoins are up like 1-2%, 0 point something percent. They're definitely in green. So as you can see right now on the Bitcoin dominance, this is still crashing towards downside. The big time frames up here, the weekly time frame is the most important. Again, 4 days left until this candle closes. Maybe it bounces towards upside over here. We'll also see over here that if we invert the chart a little bit, this is kind of flagging towards upside over here, some kind of rising wedge, so there might be a pullback before another move towards upside. If this rising wedge, technically falling wedge, should break towards upside up here, this is actually very bearish. So if this falling wedge over here breaks towards downside, it's extremely bearish, so we might expect more dumps towards downside. But more likely is that there is some kind of bounce on the dominance before it actually goes towards downside again. Let me just remove a couple of lines over here, so we'll see that. And let's go over here. So you see up here we had a big move towards downside. This is oftentimes, you know, some kind of exhaustion pattern, and you know, the most likely, you know, it's some kind of bounce up here before an you know, continuation towards downside. Maybe it's gonna try to hit some kind of moving averages. Let me see where the moving averages are over here. This is you know, 4-hour time frame, but you know, the daily time frame over here is still pulling back towards downside. So it's very likely that it tries to, you know, bounce up here to towards the moving averages somewhere, and then again goes towards downside. So still holding this support level down here on the bottom. You can see up here, this on the daily time frame over here, we still haven't broken the support level on the daily. I mean, we still haven't broken the support level. Technically, we still haven't broken the support level over here. You'll see, you know, the wick over here. You'll see the close up here. You will see the dollar over here. You will see the pullback up here as well. So this candle up here is not closed just yet. So you know, there is a very good chance for this to actually hold the support level and bounce off of the support level. On the weekly time frame, we are still again didn't break the support level over here just yet. Very, very close to that, but they didn't. And but what we did is already a bearish move previous week up here, bearish engulfing candle below the 10 moving average. Right now this is moving down, but it is very likely that it's gonna have a nice bounce towards upside. Now, regardless whether this has a bounce or a dump, really doesn't matter, because even if it has the, you know, bounce towards upside and Bitcoin goes up, you know, 10% forever, altcoins are going to go up 5%, right? If it goes down like down, you know, 1-2%, altcoins might have a bigger dump towards the downside. So if you look at altcoins, there are a lot of altcoins right now that are having this kind of let me just remove a little bit lines over here. There's a lot of altcoins that are right now having these consolidation boxes down here at the bottom, and I've seen already a couple of coins right now actually bouncing out of these accumulation boxes towards the upside. But oftentimes these kind of boxes, once you have some kind of, you know, consolidation, some kind of move, you break, you have some kind of capitulation move out of that that move, out of the trend, you get into a box just before the box actually breaks towards the upside. Very likely move is another one of these wicks towards the downside, you know, a spring towards the upside. That's a very, very likely. So when we look at Bitcoin dominance right now, and we think that Bitcoin dominance might actually, you know, go towards the upside over here a little bit, that might happen. That might happen. So if Bitcoin dumps down like 5%, like we just talked about over here, so if it goes down over here and dumps down, you know, a couple of percentage towards the downside, Bitcoin dominance might actually explode towards the upside a little bit, because altcoins might actually suffer a bigger move towards the downside. Now, I'm not worried about bigger move towards downside over here. Let me go to the weekly time frame. I'm not really worried about bigger move towards downside, because even if, for example, this is Cosmos, even if Cosmos should jump down, it's a 16% drop towards downside, but you know, technically it's still inside the box. So even if it drops down over here 10, you know, 15%, you know, towards downside up here, it's still technically in the box, and it can actually continue after that towards upside. So I'm definitely, you know, if you're gonna have a big moves in crypto, oftentimes just before these very, very big moves, what happens is some kind of spring before we actually goes towards upside. So I thought I should mention that, because I think that that is a probability, especially when you're looking at over here this extortion pattern that's happening on the dominance, and when you're thinking that, you know, Bitcoin up here has a very you know, decent chance for a pullback towards the downside. Ethereum over here, I think Ethereum already broke a little bit towards the downside. I had this channel on Ethereum up here. It's kind of broke towards the downside. I still haven't fallen, but it's kind of hugging over here. But I think it might actually fall down towards the downside eventually over here. So if Bitcoin pulls back, it looks like Ethereum is also going to pull back. It does look like already broke towards the downside. I don't know how else to draw this channel. Maybe something like this over here, and then technically still inside the channel, but you know, it is very good probability that it is gonna break down as well. I'm saying just it's good probability. I'm not saying it's gonna do that. You know, it can just bounce over here as well. Ethereum Bitcoin dominance up here. Ethereum Bitcoin chart 0.09 up. It's still consolidating inside this pattern towards the upside up here. It is gonna also pull back towards the downside up here. Best case scenario, this doesn't and just goes through the roof over here. You'll see on the weekly time frame we are right now again still inside that channel on the towards the downside. So we still don't have any kind of breakup on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. It is very close, but it's still, you know, inside the same channel up here. And Bitcoin dominance is actually pushing down. It is close, guys. It is close. Unfortunately, you know, this pain before we break towards the upside, it can take a little while. I think there is a very good chance right now to, you know, retest this midline up here before we actually go towards the upside. So it can take a little bit time before the last move towards the upside. The only thing that matters right now is this channel up here, and until we are actually outside of channel towards the upside or downside, this can continue, you know, sideways motion for a while. But right now, you know, short term, I think it might actually pull back a little bit. DXY still haven't broken towards the downside. It's bouncing off of the midline over here for whatever that's worth. I'm a little bit, you know, unsure when that's going to happen. This looks like expanding musical instrument over here of some kind. These expanding musical instruments often, you know, bounce towards the upside over here. On the other hand, if it does drop towards the downside, that's actually good for us, right? So that is that. How's everybody doing in the chat, guys? Good morning, Andrew. What's up? Usually this kind of saying will only mean the end of the pullback. Now, when people say, you know, pullback to come, they think, you know, 20% pullback or whatever, right? Yeah, this is top or something like that, you know. That, and usually they say at the, you know, some kind of bottoms, right? We are not saying that some kind of bottom, we are saying some kind of top, and we are saying it's only going to come, you know, a couple of percentages towards the downside. It's, you know, small time frames pullback, which is actually very normal, you know. So there is that. That's the only thing I'm mentioning. 62 will come soon. I don't know how much is the over here, the midline over here is around 64, 62. I mean, it could get down to 62, like there is a good chance for that as well. On the dollar, Paulo Zenga, how you doing, man? The Greens Goblin, good morning, TLI. How you doing, Greens Goblin? Arrow is pointing to the wrong side. Sorry, man, I'll do this just for you. It looks like head and shoulders. It played out. There was a head and shoulders over here, inverse head and shoulders played out, so this is already over. I don't see any kind of other head and shoulders pattern over here. You know, maybe something like this over here, but you know, nah. Analyze Shiba Inu, boss. TLI, DXY looks bearish. Yeah, we just looked at the DXY. It does look bearish, but maybe some kind of move towards the upside. Peter is in the chat. How you doing, man? Do you think ETH has been priced in for ETF? Just like it, Bitcoin, you know, people have been saying, oh, it's priced in, ETFs are priced in, and Bitcoin is still towards the upside, right? Don't think that, you know, just because something is priced in that it cannot go towards the upside. On the weekly, DXY looks like a bear flag. Let's check that out on the weekly. So this is daily. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Bear flag, there is no bear flag on the weekly. I mean, if you look at like this over here or something like that, nah, I don't know. Maybe we're just focusing on the channel up here, these bearish mountains, which are actually very, very bearish. And if you go to the daily time frame over here, I think there is a good chance for this to bounce towards us. And now that I'm seeing this, you know, expanding musical instrument over here, this thing over here actually has a very good chance to bounce towards upside over here. So maybe more move towards upside and then a big fast crash towards the downside. I mean, that could also happen, right? Maybe some kind of retest on the midline over here. So that would mean that, you know, Bitcoin more consolidation part of Bitcoin. But I don't say that, you know, I don't believe that, you know, just because DXY goes towards upside, Bitcoin cannot go towards upside, because it did happen before and I was, you know, burned once, so I don't want to get burned again. You know, DXY at one point went towards upside. Everybody thought it's going to go towards downside because inversely correlated, and Bitcoin pumped at the same time as DXY pumped. So I don't believe, you know, just because, you know, DXY goes towards upside, that Bitcoin needs to go towards downside. It's a small bear flag, 2 weeks only. How can you have a bear flag on 2 weeks only over here? I mean, this part over here, like bear flag or something like that. I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's go to daily. So, you know. Nah, it's not a bear flag, man. I don't see it, man. I don't know what you see, but I don't see that. Anyways, guys, quick and dirty update. This was only 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed that, you know, so we don't talk too much about other stuff. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. You know, short term right now, this looks very, very plausible that it's gonna break towards downside up here towards midline. I'm not saying it cannot go towards upside. It can. There is only probabilities. There are no certainties over here. But I think that right now the probability, you know, for a breakdown over here towards downside a little bit, it is higher than usual though. It is higher than usual though. Yeah. So I don't think it's a bear flag, man. It's a little bit shady bear flag. It's a little bit shady bear flag. Is there anything else that's been happening in crypto right now? I don't think. You know, SEC has been you know, fined something like 80 billion or something like that. Sorry, 80 million, because the abuse of power there was that. And also there is this Mt. Gox FUD going around that, you know, Mt. Gox is sending out money, so, you know, the dump is coming, the dump is coming. Don't believe the FUD, guys, believe the charts. On the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, looks like head and shoulders pattern. Kinda yes and kinda no, because this over here, you know, can you say this head and shoulders pattern? I mean, technically, you know, maybe you can say that, that's head and shoulders pattern, so, you know, we can 81, but, you know, I'm a little bit unsure about this shoulder over here. It could be shoulder, you know, shoulders, you know, and then dump towards the downside, but it could also be shoulder, shoulder. So oftentimes people take the distance up here towards the downside, but, you know, it could be just half of that over here. So there is that. Good catch. Yes, upsloping head and shoulders. Bearish head and shoulders. Yeah, of course, bearish head and shoulders. Regular head and shoulders patterns are bearish. Inverse head and shoulders, you know, patterns are bullish. So there is that. Let me go up here on the weekly time frame for a second. Let's go to another chart over here, and let's pop some indicators on the chart. So right now, let's just look at over here. We got 70 RSI on the weekly time frame, which is actually quite nice. We're just, you know, zigzagging up there at the top. We are having this bearish cross up here, but we got these, you know, bullish mountains over here. You can see up here. Momentum is actually climbing towards high. So right now, I don't know if you can see it over here, but let me try to zoom in. You'll see that actually momentum is actually during these past weeks over here. These last 4 weeks, it's actually going towards upside again. I don't know if you can see, it's very slightly, but maybe if you have 3-hour time frame up here, it's been going down. It's just following momentum towards downside, upside. There is no changes actually. So I mean, the MACD it doesn't look bearish. The RSI doesn't look overextended. I got my own indicator on weekly time frame. It's not over. Like over here, we are majorly extended on my own indicator, like 23% or above the average up here. You can see up here, every time you get these kind of tops, you pull back. So, you know, pull back down, which is actually very nice. So we are actually consolidating. On the monthly time frame up here, again, the RSI is very high, or it was very high, 77 over here. Once we exploded towards, you know, 61K all the way from 42K. Right now we are pulling a little bit back, you know, we consolidate here at 70 levels. So these 70 levels right now, they are not actually topping out just yet, right? The MACD over here, as well is still continuing towards upside after this green candle. We still got 2 days left on the monthly time frame, so this actually looks very good. We are getting another green candle up here, over here. The momentum is still going towards upside. Hopefully we can, you know, continue the green candle run over here towards upside up here a little bit, you know, a couple of more months before we actually get extended. You also see that we are not that extended on the monthly time frame right now. We pull back a little bit, so this major extension is up here towards upside where these tops are. We are not quite there yet. This is my own indicator, so, you know, we are not all the way down over here because we are very extended. You know, we are extended to some degree towards upside, but not quite, you know, at these highs just yet over here, right? And you can see up here, for example, previous over here move came to, you know, 14K. We got some kind of high levels. We came very, very close to that, but we are still not extended, guys. We are still not extended, so we don't see any kind of extension on monthly time frames. The momentum still seems to be going in the right direction. There are no divergences or anything like that, so it's gonna take a little bit while before we actually, over here there was actually extreme extension over here towards upside, so we are looking at these extreme extensions. I don't think we're gonna get in this bull market, you know, these kind of extensions. I mean, those are kind of up there. Those are kind of up there up here. This is 2013-14, so I don't think we're gonna get like 80% or something like that, because too much. But I think it's gonna go. It has more things to go. I like MACD, but RSI is better. I don't see how you can compare those two and, you know, say which is better. You know, they're just helping you figure out the momentum up here. So this is monthly Bollinger Band, the squeeze. We are right now extending this towards upside over here again, and it is going with full force towards upside. So, you know, we are definitely somewhere over here. So if this continues going towards upside, it's going to extend this even more towards upside over here. So this monthly time frame, weekly time frame is pulling back ever since over here, which is actually good. I don't think we are gonna get this kind of consolidation again. I mean, this is bear market. This is, you know, this is the consolidation just before the FOMO move towards upside, and you can see up here as soon as it actually starts over here going towards upside, there was actually a couple of times that we had, but you know, we after the bottom over here, we did have one of these times where it pulled back over here. But once it starts going towards upside, I mean, right now we are doing this over here, but the entire move should go all the way towards the tops up here. Let me see small time frames. 3 days down, very squeezed. I think we are squeezed enough. I think on the daily we are very squeezed, aren't we? Yeah, we are actually very squeezed. Come back down to the 20 moving average over here. The move can happen. It's okay, the move can happen, guys. Jewel is in the chat. How you doing, man? Hi, Tila. What if we don't close the monthly above the previous monthly high? Is there a pattern on lower time frames which can give us some indication about what could happen? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mentioned this actually yesterday. If you go to the monthly time frame, so over here the problem is that we don't get the. Let me find a clean chart. So right over here we talked about that, right? What if we don't actually get a bullish engulfing? Because this is bearish engulfing candle. What if we don't get bullish engulfing? Nothing happens. Even this candle is bullish. It's still bullish. It really, even if you fall down a little bit towards downside, it's still bullish because nothing is broken towards downside. We didn't create a new red candle or anything like that. It's fine. I mean, the best case scenario is of course the bullish engulfing candle, but just going down, closing below the support level, it's not bearish. And I think there is a very good chance that we're not gonna get bullish engulfing candle over here. And I think that might actually be good because a lot of people, you know, might think that, oh, bearish engulfing candle, but no bullish engulfing candle is going to go towards downside, and then, you know, next months you just continue going towards upside, right? So we don't have to have a bullish engulfing candle. It's not, you know, alpha and omega. I'm going to show you something on the chart over here. Let's go to the logarithm because it's easier to see. Right over here. No, here was actually bullish engulfing candle. So we had a bearish engulfing candle and bullish engulfing candle right over here. Let me see, do we have anything else that's similar to that? It's a bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing. This is a bullish engulfing. Like over here we had a bearish engulfing, bullish engulfing, and then it again went towards the downside up here. Let me see on the weekly time frame. Let's see if you can find an example where we had a bearish engulfing candle. Over here, I mean, over here it just continued going towards upside, right? Bullish, it went up, bearish engulfing, didn't break anything, tried to go towards upside up here, didn't have bullish engulfing, continued towards downside, but it was consolidation pattern that actually took a very, very long time. Could be that. It doesn't have to mean that, but it could be that. Bearish engulfing over here, pull back, and just continue going towards upside up here. Now here we have another example over here. This is also a bullish big candle. I think this is a bearish engulfing candle. Then we had this move that didn't break towards upside and continue up here. And there was consolidation over here and then continue towards upside. It really doesn't matter. You know, it could show sign of weakness, but it could show sign of bullishness as well. I wouldn't say that there is a big significance in the on the monthly time frame over here when it comes to whether that's bullish engulfing candle or not. It really doesn't matter. I mean, best case scenario is of course if it becomes a bullish engulfing candle, but just because it's not, it doesn't mean it's actually very, very bearish or anything like that. The ranges come true most of the time, that's why. Nah, I don't think you understand the variances. Anyways, guys, that is for today. It was quick and dirty, you know, Bitcoin update. If you haven't watched the entire thing, just go back and watch the entire thing. We got a public Telegram channel. I'm just putting it out there. You're welcome to join if you want. If you don't want, you know, it's up to you, man. It's free. Why wouldn't you like free stuff? Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. You know, sometimes here, sometimes there. Sometimes at 9 AM, sometimes not. Who knows? But we do this show every day. Hopefully. Because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. Thank you for watching. I'll see you around, and you know, don't lose too much money. Quit arguing with TLA. See ya. Cheers. Okay, guys. Bye bye. Have a nice day.